Hi, welcome to a little bit of Charting 101 questions and answers so that we can know more about ourselves and more about our cycle. So whether you are trying to get your period back, or you are trying to achieve pregnancy, or you are just looking to manage and optimize your hormones, I recommend anybody who is in fertility age to definitely be tracking your basal body temperature and your symptoms and cervical mucus patterns that you are seeing. So the first thing that I see a lot of is girls stressing over their charting. And usually that comes because we are a very sensitive people of type A personalities if we have lost our periods or we're struggling with infertility. I get it, I was one. So I'm trying to share my thoughts with you today so that you know a little bit more than I did and you can go forward in peace. There are two different ways that you should really be looking at your cycle. One is a day-to-day, and then the other way is looking at it from cycle to cycle. And I understand if you are not, if you do not have a period yet, that you might be looking at a really long follicular phase, but don't worry, I'll get to that. So when you're looking at your day-to-day data, you should be looking to see if you are seeing spikes or dips, or if you are kind of staying status quo. That will tell you how your body is responding to the atmosphere and the stimulus that you are putting it through to understand. We like to see pretty steady temperatures to know that we are at a hormonal balance. If we are seeing constant spikes and dips, that means that there is something off. And you need to be asking yourself questions. How's my sleep? Has anything changed? How's my exercise? Has anything changed? How is my food? Has anything changed? How's my relationship? And we want to see how your body is responding to those things. Even things like alcohol can cause a shift in your temperature when you are checking in the morning. If this is coinciding with cervical mucus, it could be ovulation. If you have 3 consecutive temperatures that are above the other ones, then we could usually confirm ovulation after a few days. If this is coinciding with times that your body is experiencing fever symptoms, even if it is not a sky-high fever, this could be a fever for your body. It's all important information to go on to understand how to take care of yourself. Now, after you're looking at your data day to day to ask yourself questions about what's going on, look at it cycle to cycle. Even if you are in a very long follicular phase without a period, you will start to see trends as you are trying different methods to get your period back. And we can track ovulation to what's going on in our life and to see how the body is responding to that. And it'll become clearer to you when your body is run down or if it's rearing to go. So look for those small patterns and long range patterns to really understand yourself. Now, I also want to take a moment to talk about your cervical mucus. Hopefully, if you are working on recovery or you are past recovery, you're having regular periods, you are paying attention to the cervical mucus patterns. Most of the women out there are very upset and nervous about what am I looking at? And there's tons of things that you can look at with, if it's sticky, is it egg white, is it lotiony, is it watery? And most of the questions I get are what am I looking at? Am I looking at fertile mucus or non-fertile mucus? What's going on? I feel like this doesn't look like any of them. And I want to bring you back to a thought on your elementary school days when you learned about clouds. Now, if you were in my generation when you learned about clouds, they frequently taught us using cotton balls for your cumulus clouds. They let us leave them bunched together, but we took wisps of it and put it higher in the atmosphere, and then your stratus clouds were all spread out, lower range clouds. And when you grow into the higher grades, they start telling you that not all clouds fit perfectly in those 3 categories, and that sometimes there is clouds that exist in the middle. So the same thing happens with your cervical mucus, and that's why you feel stressed about it, because not always does your cervical mucus fit in the categories that people talk about. Sometimes it's in a category in between, and that's okay. It's not the same month to month because you aren't the same month to month. So generally speaking, If it is thinner and watery and you can't really see it, but it's very, very slippery, that is your most fertile time. If you are seeing any cervical mucus, it means that it is a fertile time. And when you aren't seeing cervical mucus, then it is generally not a fertile time. And if you are seeing cervical mucus throughout your entire cycle, usually we're thinking lower progesterone. Again, generally speaking. So my goal today was just to give you some thoughts for your own charting and to encourage you to work with a coach if you are stressed, because that's why we're here. We are here to clear things up and help you learn about your body so that you can take it, apply it, and move on. So hopefully this was helpful. Feel free to drop comments down below. Send me a like to let me know that this was helpful for you. And if you have any comments, feel free to reach out. If you are looking for coaching, I also am still taking clients. So again, send me a note and we can arrange something. See you soon.